What's up, guys? It's James again with the subject supposed to speak. So, I'm sitting here. It's about half past midnight on Monday, the 13th of February. I am in quite a state, mentally speaking. I can't sleep, not terribly happy about it, and I just keep having these thoughts, right, about the way things have gone and about how things could have been. And kind of a perennial theme with me. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know. And of course, when you're in a place where it feels like your life's at a standstill, most people are going to probably reflect in this way, where it sort of seems like there's something that's been irretrievably lost. And there certainly has been a number of things that have been irretrievably lost. The question is, why does it seem so hard to move on to bigger and better things? And I think one answer is that because those things take lots of effort. They're not easy to achieve. I don't know. I've got like 1,000,001 thoughts in my head. Each of them is struggling to come forward, and it's like each one is batting the other down, and nothing wants to really decisively come out. I guess this is some kind of phenomenological proof of my freedom. The only way forward is to decide on something. There is no perfect thought, just like there's no perfect job, just like there's no perfect girl, just like there's no perfect anything in life, right? Granted, there are better and worse choices, but you know, I feel like I've spent so much time in my life waiting for that ideal something to come along that I've just robbed myself of so much. And I mean, it's been more than that too. There were times where I was more flexible. I remember when I didn't get into any of the PhD programs that I applied to right after graduating from a master's from Essex. I said, okay, whatever. I'm gonna switch gears. No big deal. Started attending at CSUN, paid out of pocket for some undergrad English creative writing classes and one philosophy class. My plan was to get a master's in creative writing and English lit. I was 23. I had high hopes. I wasn't working at the time, but I didn't really care. I was so focused on my studies. I was enjoying myself so much. And, I'm sure I eventually would have picked up a job doing something. But for the time, it was all right. I had some student loan money to go off of. Not that it had been a good thing for me to accrue all that debt getting the master's or the bachelor's from SC, the year previous. But, whatever. I was performing really well. I was at Cal State Northridge, and I was gearing up towards what could have been a promising, track towards an MFA degree and maybe even a PhD in English, which, if you have that credential, it's really not hard to get a job teaching at a college or a university, and state colleges or community colleges. It's not that hard to get a tenure track job. And I don't think it would have been hard for me. As much as I hate teaching grammar and basic composition, that's just a minor trade-off. But in any case, that didn't pan out. What happened was, I went to Disneyland with my family during winter break after that fall semester at CSUN, where I'd done really well, earned a lot of praise and recognition from my professors. Wrote a poem that won praise from a Polish poet. It was a nice little blank verse ditty that, I haven't been able to replicate anything quite like that since. Um, I don't know, like, it's different. I had this mode that I would fall into when I wrote poetry like that. The It was weird. It was like I could kind of half rhyme and play with certain rhythms and stuff without even realizing quite what I was doing. But it came out sounding good. When I read it, it sounded even better. Um, on the page was one thing, but actually reading it aloud, yeah, that's when things got impressive. Um, and I wrote some critical essays in my literary theory class. Philosophy class went fairly well. Took that with Ron McIntyre. He's a distinguished scholar in phenomenology. He had mostly praise for my level of comprehension of the subject matter. Uh, you know, and would happily recommend me to work as faculty. Just about, when I applied for an adjunct position at the college down the street at Moore Park, which I was denied. Um, Whatever the case may be, uh, winter break came around. I went to Disneyland with my family, and it's like, I remember it was like time for us to leave. It was late. You know, everyone needed to get back to their business. Everyone needed to get back home. And my brother, who had been like, he's such a weirdo. He was like, he had hurt his child's feelings so much. And I remember witnessing this and being like, what the fuck is wrong with this person? She was like, running up to him like, Daddy, come look at this thing. And he'd be like, no. He had to like walk by himself from Disneyland as like a 30, what was he, like, probably my age now, 33-year-old man. It was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm noticing in this, and I'm just like, this is beyond distasteful. Like, you're fucking evil, dude. Like, what are you doing? And like, he was crying. I remember she was like 3 or 4. This is my niece. She was so upset that he wouldn't pay attention to her. That he wouldn't look at whatever it was that, she wanted him to. And he just didn't get it. The experience was about her, not about him. Now I think back to my girl from 2 semesters ago, and I'm realizing that that's like the same way I treated her. She wanted so bad to be close to me. She wanted acknowledgement and attention from me so bad. She wanted me to just play with her and to be nice to her. And it was like, I couldn't quite let myself. I had to try and conserve myself falsely. I imagined I let her adulations go to my head instead of just reciprocating on them and being like, guess what? I like you too. So let's play. Let's go have fun, Just like, and it should come as no surprise that after years and years of having to deal with avoiding him and dealing with his emotional abuse and his hostility and his threats against me just for telling him that he's wrong about things and standing up to him when no one else wants to. It should come as no surprise to me whatsoever that it's made me like him. And that's what I think I've needed to get out tonight with this. When he was 19, he got into this motorcycle wreck that literally, damaged likely his brain caused him organic trauma, and he never really recovered from that. He just kind of engaged in compulsive self-destructive behavior, and because he was permitted to live with us when I was young, when I was 11 or 12, I was 12 years old when he came back home. And from the ages of 12 up until I left for college, he was around, abusing everyone at every turn. And I remember standing up to him. I remember fighting with him. I remember trying to protect everyone from him while my dad just kind of stood there idly and let us all be abused. And I remember leaving for college, and I remember trying to fumble and stumble my way through that socially, and, you know, meeting girls and feeling so poorly about myself in each instance, and so eager for approval and acceptance, but incapable of really asserting myself in a healthy, sensible way. And I remember the destruction that led to. And I remember coming home, knowing that my older brother was coming home. And I remember fighting with my dad about it, thinking, you know, this is a chance for us to all get up on our feet. My older sister was there, my younger brother was there. They had actually moved here close to the college so my younger brother could attend. And they didn't recognize the folly in bringing my older brother back home, because he had his child and he used it as bait to manipulate them. When you know, everyone knew that it should have been the last straw years earlier, when a hardened criminal broke into our house and stole his drug money. You know, broke into his window with a crowbar, and you know, they knew after he had done heroin and gone to a 6-car pileup on the freeway that it was time for him to be gone forever, and they promised us. And then, right when I get home, after just putting all the desperation, misery, and hatred for myself on display at school, at college, and just failing to find a vocation, a path forward, when I came home, you know, so eager to just kind of stabilize. I'd gotten a job, I was ready to work. That's when they brought him back home. And that's when things started to destabilize again. And that's when I left to get that master's degree. And I remember now coming home, enrolling at CSUN after not getting, you know, the response I wanted for the PhD programs. And I remember how that getting that master's degree was like this escapist thing, and the escapist and sort of self-destructive impracticality of it, taking out all those loans, spending all this money on frivolous things, traveling Europe with student loan money. I had a great time, but it was just destructive, you know, to my future. And I remember coming home, getting through that first semester season, thinking, okay, this is going in a good direction again. I went to Disneyland. I saw John neglect his child and act emotionally distant and cold to her. And I remember when it was time for us all to go home, he insisted on staying at Disneyland, like, until closing time. And it was already like 10 at night. And I had driven with him, and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this individual? So I went home with my oldest sister and her husband. And when we got back home, I knew there was like bad blood between my younger brother and my older brother. And I just told my younger brother, I'm like, look, dude, if anything goes down, I got your back, man. Fateful words. Because Christmas Day, that next morning, my older brother was antagonizing my younger brother for no good fucking reason. And I remember turning and looking at him and being like, what are you doing? And he's like, stay out of this. I'm like, no, I'm not going to stay out of it, you dickhead. And finally, my younger brother leapt from the stairs onto my older brother, and that's when I rushed over and we just started beating the shit out of him. I just like hammer fists in his head. My dad tried to put his hands on his head and protect him. We smashed his fingers without really realizing what we were doing, you know. And I get him on the ground. This fucking bastard, piece of shit human being who's just destroyed my fucking life. And that's what he is, and that's what he's done. His presence has fucked me up in ways where it's like I can barely recognize myself or feel like I should live some days because, you know, of the undue influence that he's had from the time I was young, you know, and didn't know any better, couldn't do anything about it really, hardly. And I remember having him on the ground, moving in for a rear naked choke and just thinking, nah, it's cool, don't do it. One of the biggest mistakes of my life. I should have choked him until he was completely retarded and harmless. That would have been way better than what ensued, because when I backed up off him and let him up, he sucker punched me, and I'm like, alright dude, cool. So like we got through the whole like male domination thing. Like, I had your ass on the ground, I could have killed you, I decided not to. Do you understand that? That's called mercy. Now, do you understand that nobody fucking wants you here right now? Do you get it? That you're not welcome, that you're an asshole, that you've overstayed your fucking welcome? Sucker punches me again. Alright, dude, cool. Cops come. Me and my younger brother were kicked out of the house. And, you know, my dad got an apartment that both of us would live in. I decided to go live with my friends instead of my younger brother, which was kind of a dick move for him. But, you know, I knew I had to sort of surround myself with different people and a different environment. I knew that would be the best thing for me. And my poor younger brother just fell into this depression while living at that apartment. I lived with my friends for a year. I ended up moving in with my younger brother after a year. And we just kind of struggled. It's kind of damaged life, you know. Struggled to hold down steady work, and, you know, meanwhile the back rent accrued, and we both ended up, well, he ended up trying to join the Navy. That crashed and burned. Fell out and crashed out of basic. I ended up back at my parents' place, and the same old, tired, hostile confrontations ensued between myself and my older brother. And I wasn't even thinking about going back to school and trying to study for that MFA anymore. It's just like, there's too much shit had gone on, and like, you know, why am I going to try and do that from this crazy, emotionally unstable environment? It's just like dealing with the shock of the way everything had gone down. I was like 24, 25. But eventually I decided, you know, after meeting my boss at the MMA gym, after, you know, working for him for a little bit, I decided I'd go back to school at Moore Park, because it was free, and that I'd try and do the patent agent certification. why not, you know? And again, my older brother's persecutions drove me away and drove me once more into a self-destructive downward spiral of my own, which led me back home. But this time, his pushing me away constituted some kind of a limit effect on him, to where he realized that what he had done and what he had been doing and who he was, he became repugnant to himself. He could no longer hide from how much of a piece of shit he was, and that's when he just broke down completely and ended up in the psychiatric ward. And I want to say that I came dangerously close myself 2 semesters ago with this girl who just plopped into my lap, into my life, and tried so desperately hard to be close to me because she thought I was the coolest thing since sliced bread, and she recognized that I was competent and confident and strong, and that I had so many good qualities, and that I had so much going for me, and she wanted to share in that. But it was just on the surface, and beneath the surface was the life, the damaged life of a person who understands all too well that his life is a shadow of what it could have been, and who hates himself for it, and who tends to hate everything and everyone around him for it. And all that came out, that extraordinary resentment, not just towards those who have hurt me, but towards someone who only wanted to make me feel good and to affirm me. Really. Yeah, she was kind of trying to seduce me. She wanted my attention. Okay? On the whole, what she wanted from me was for me to let her get close. And she wanted to share with me the one thing in my life that has been, one of the most redemptive ways of sort of trying to heal from all this damage and this trauma, and the fact that, I've been basically told and shown that my sense of my own self and my own worth is inconsequential in light of, my parents and their felt need to sort of cater to the whims of my psychopath of an older brother, and to let themselves be manipulated by him. And that was diving in the ocean. And she wanted so badly to go with me. I remember her complaining the second time I told her I went. She said, "You went again without me." I remember kind of snickering and laughing like a total asshole. And I tried to let her come with me. I tried to let her be close to me. I wanted to do that with her. I wanted her to be close to me. I wanted to share that with her. Something that's been a source of so much happiness for me, because she had been the source of so much happiness for me. And that's never going to happen now, because I was too fucked up in the head to let her in. And I'm just scared. I'm scared that things aren't going to get better. I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to really move forward in a robust way. I'm scared that whatever my next step might be, it's just going to be too hard to overcome this sense of brokenness and damage, and to persist in pursuing it. I'm scared I'm just going to succumb to defeat because that's the easiest thing. And it's been made so much easier to do that because of how things have gone with my relationship with my family. They've just kind of grounded into my face that my need to individuate and my needs as an individual are just, they're not of concern to them. And it's like my parents are just like, they're so desperate for their children to recognize their superiority or their authority. And they're so desperate for their children to just need them that they can't. And they're incapable, they've been incapable of equipping us with the tools to be independent. As much as, you know, people might say, oh, well, they just kind of enable you. Yeah, that's kind of true. But by the same token, they basically broke us first. That's how that went down. They insisted on us being harmed, if not directly by their unhappy parenting, then by the fallout of the unruliness of my older brother, who's just been such a force for destruction ever since I was young. There were just sporadic spare times where he really was a good older brother. And I miss those times, and I wish those times could have prevailed. They haven't. And he's just a husk of a person, a scumbag at this point. It's like we all have to suffer for this, for you to take money from us through your mental health disability that you get, and to have your own apartment that you don't really deserve so you can go there to sleep, so that this crazy relationship where my parents have guardianship of his child, but he's, you know, legally permitted to be involved to some degree in her life. And, you know, the apartment that he lives in basically serves one function. It serves as a buffer. Because if he lived here, like he basically does already, but if he had to sleep here overnight, and if he had to be here all the time, every hour of the day, then my parents and him, they would like kill each other. Like that's what would happen. And so the state has intervened to turn a heinous, ugly, stupid situation sustainable. A situation that rests on a violation of international law, wherein my father and my older brother conspired to steal a child away from its mother, an infant. That's what they did. Also, they could maintain this sick sham of a family where they're not even permitting him to fail, and they're insisting on raising his child in the way that they see fit. It's like they're doing it for him. They're doing it where he would have certainly failed, and where he should have failed, and where that failure could have constituted a wake-up call for him having to give the child up and having to leave his crazy wife. That could have been something that turned his life around. But they refused to permit that. And in refusing to permit that, they've just, in bringing him home with the child, unspeakable harm for the rest of us who had a chance. Do we have a chance now? I don't know. We're all kind of stuck here. My older sister watches 12 hours of TV a day when she has, works very, very part-time hours. has a business that she says she wants to grow, but she's not going to do anything about it. It's too comfortable. Just watch TV. My younger brother, he works full time at the gas station. Really smart guy. Has a whopping associates in liberal studies in all the years he spent at the college because of all the heinous turmoil that's just been completely disruptive to him trying to marshal himself. And here I am, probably the most well-achieved and independent of the bunch. Granted, my younger brother typically has been better about holding down full-time work. I've typically chosen to patch it together. It doesn't matter. I'm the one who's done the most with his time. And I'm scared that I won't ever really be able to get over any and all of this. But I don't know. I guess I just gotta keep making steps forward and hope they take me in the right direction. But it's just a harrowing thing to realize that, they permit his trauma to become mine. And the degree to which this has destroyed my ability to relate to people, especially in the most intimate of contexts, especially girls, who often will express an interest in me of their own accord before I even approach them. And that's pretty much the only way I don't approach or chase, basically. And, it seems kind of dismal right now. I imagine that just having someone who is sincere and caring, understanding my life would just be the biggest motivator for me. Someone who really wanted to build something. Biggest motivator for me to just start moving in a better direction. And I'm trying to move in a better direction regardless, but there's just this sense the entire time of what's the use? Can I really do this? Who am I fighting for? Just myself. It feels really lonely. And I guess that's where it stands for now. I'm trying to think what else I might have to say, but I want so bad for there to be some kind of harmony, for there to be some kind of accord between my spirit and my flesh, my heart and my mind. It's like there's this split, this rupture, this fundamental fault that just won't. Every time a bridge starts to build over it, it's dashed to pieces. I don't know what it's going to take. I just want to be away. It's like I feel the need to be sheltered and comforted by something that I know unquestionably will serve and love me, and that I can serve and love without any hesitation or fear. guess that's the major appeal of military service at this point. Is that, it's an institution that I can really, I know I can make a difference. I know I could make it a kinder and gentler place. I know that there's people out there who want and who need my help. And I know that there are people out there who will be happy to help me in turn. I just need to be away from this poisonous prison. I've been doing myself harm to stay here. I think we'll stop right there.